Hello and namaste to all of you. This is JVN Shalu Singh from Department of Physiotherapy and Diagnosis. So, from Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. So, for today's session, I'll be telling you a little more about dialysis. So, in previous sections, I've told you about dialysis, and let's see what basically first see what dialysis is. So, dialysis is the treatment that does some of the things done by health kidneys, and it is needed when your own kidney can no longer take care of your body's need. So when is a dialysis needed basically? So you need dialysis when you develop the end stage kidney failure, and usually by the time you lose about 85 to 90% of your kidney functions and have a GFR of less than 15. And GFR, normal values for your GFR is less 15. So what does dialysis do basically? So when your kidneys fail, dialysis keeps your body in balance by removing waste, salt, and extra water to prevent them from building up in the body, and keeping a safe level of certain chemicals in your body, such as potassium, sodium, and bicarbonate, and helping to control blood pressure. So, is kidney failure permanent? Usually, but not always. So, some kind of acute kidney failure, also known as acute renal failure, it gets better after treatment. So, if in some cases uh, of acute kidney failure, uh, dialysis may only be needed for a short time until kidney gets better. And in chronic or end stage kidney failure, your kidneys they do not get better, and you need dialysis for the rest of your life. So if your doctor says you're a candidate, you may choose to be placed on a waiting list for a new kidney. And next question which is generally asked is, where is a dialysis done? So dialysis, it can be done in hospital, in a dialysis unit which is not a part of a hospital, or at home. So you and your doctor, you both can decide which place is the best, and based on your medical condition and your wishes. So next question that is frequently asked is that, are there different types of dialysis? Yes, there are two types of dialysis: hemodialysis and your peritoneal dialysis. So, what is hemodialysis? In case of hemodialysis, an artificial kidney or hemodialyzer is used to remove waste, extra chemicals, fluids from your body, and to get your blood into artificial kidney, and the doctor needs to make an access or entrance into your blood vessels. So this is done by minor surgery to your arms or legs, and sometimes an access is made by joining an artery to a vein under your skin to make a bigger blood vessel called a fistula. However, if your blood vessels are not adequate for a fistula, the doctor may use a soft plastic tube, join an artery and a vein under your skin, and this is called as graft. Now, occasionally, an access is made by means of narrow plastic tube called as catheter, and which is inserted into large vein in your neck. And this type of access may be temporary, but is sometimes used for long-term treatment. Now, how long do the hemodialysis treatments last? So the time needed for your dialysis will depend upon how well your kidney is working, how much fluid weight you gain between treatments, and how much waste you have in your body, or how big you are, obviously on your body size, and the type of artificial kidney used. So usually each hemodialysis treatment lasts for 4 hours and is done 3 times per week. Now, a type of hemodialysis called high flux dialysis may take less time, and you can speak to your doctor to see if this is an appropriate treatment for you. Now, what is peritoneal dialysis and how does it work? So, in this type of dialysis, your blood is cleaned inside your body, The doctor will do the surgery to place a plastic tube called a catheter into your abdomen belly to make an access. So during the treatment, your abdominal area, which is called as your peritoneal cavity, is slowly filled with dialysate through the catheter, and the blood stays in arteries and veins that lines your peritoneal cavity. Extra fluid and waste products are drawn out of your blood and into dialysate. And there are two major kinds of peritoneal dialysis. So now, what are there is two kinds of peritoneal dialysis. So those two are continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis and automated peritoneal dialysis. So the basic treatment in the same for each is same for each. So however, the number of treatments and the way of treatments are done make each method different. Now, CAPD, that is continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis, is continuous, machine-free, and is done while you go about your normal activities such as work or school. So you do the treatment by placing about 2 quarts of cleansing fluid into your belly and later draining it. And this is done by hooking up a plastic bag of cleansing fluid to the tube into your belly. Now, raising the plastic bag to shoulder level will cause gravity to pull and the fluid into your belly. When empty, the plastic bag is removed and thrown away. So when an exchange putting in and taking out the fluid is finished, the fluid, which is now has waste removed from your body, is drained from your belly and thrown away. Now, this process usually is done 3 to 4 times in a 24-hour period while you're awake. Now, during normal activities. So each exchange takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and some patients like do their exchanges at meal times and during their bedtime. So whatever time anyone is comfortable at. Now APD, it differs from CAPD in that machine, that is your cycler, it delivers and then drains the cleansing fluid for you, and the treatment usually is done at night while you sleep. So, how to decide what kind of peritoneal dialysis is best? So, the type of peritoneal dialysis that is best for you, it depends on your personal choice and your medical condition. So, your doctor will help you choose the one that is best for you. So, next, what are pros and cons of about being on peritoneal dialysis? So some doctors feel that CAPD and APD have several benefits when compared to hemodialysis. And with continuous dialysis, you can control extra fluid more easily, and this may reduce stress on the heart and your blood vessels. Now you're able to eat more and use fewer medication. You can do more of your daily activities, and it is easier to work or travel. So, however, there are more people for whom peritoneal dialysis may be appropriate, and the abdomen or belly for some people, particularly those who are morbidly obese or those with multiple priority abdominal surgeries, may take peritoneal dialysis treatments with difficulty or impossible. So peritonitis, which is infection of abdomen, is an occasional complication which is faced by many people. So although it should be infrequent with inappropriate precautions. So when people are making a decision about the type of treatment, you should take into consideration that peritoneal dialysis is usually a daily process and similar to the working of the kidney and may be more gentle with fluid removal from the body. Now, peritoneal dialysis is an effective form of dialysis and has been proven to be as good as hemodialysis. Now, peritoneal dialysis is not for everyone, and people must receive training and be able to perform correctly each of the steps of treatment. Now, a trained helper may also be used. Now, how are treatments paid for? So all types of dialysis are expensive, but for most patients, the federal government now pays 80% of all dialysis charges, with private insurance or state medical assistance, which pays the rest. Now, uh, those were the most important questions, which are people frequently during COVID-19, they're facing several questions related to their dialysis. So there are few questions which I'll be telling you about. Like some people ask, like, should I go for my dialysis treatment? Yes, obviously you should go for your dialysis treatments, because a missing one can make you sick or lead to death. So definitely one should go for dialysis during this COVID pandemic. And dialysis centers, they have been given strict guidelines about how to keep you safe from COVID-19. So if you're feeling sick in any way, you can call your center before you come for your treatment. And if the second question that people ask is that, will I be denied for dialysis treatment if I have COVID-19? So no, not at all. People who are on dialysis and who have also contracted COVID-19 are considered to be at high risk. So if there is availability, these patients may even be admitted to a hospital. And in the event your symptoms are mild, you should be able to go to your dialysis center for your scheduled treatments. So the Centers for Disease Control are already issued interim guidance for treatments on dialysis who have COVID-19, and all centers should be following these guidelines. And if you have confirmed the case of COVID-19 or symptoms of COVID-19, or believe you may have been exposed to the coronavirus, then call your dialysis center prior to your scheduled appointment, and there may be new procedures they would like for you to follow. So next, how are dialysis centers protecting patients basically? Now, the Centers of Disease Control had issued an interim guidance for patients on dialysis who have COVID-19, and all centers, they should follow these guidelines. And everyone, including all patients receiving treatments at the center, home dialysis, patients, staffs, and visitors who may have been exposed to the coronavirus, and the people who currently have symptoms of COVID-19, they should be asked if they have, number one, have they ever had any fever or any breathing or respiratory or lung symptoms, or if they live in an area with confirmed COVID-19 cases, or if they had contact with someone who has been checked for COVID-19, or if they have recently been in another country where COVID-19 has spread. So centers should take patients' temperature at check-in. They have separate waiting areas for sick patients that are at least 6 feet from each other, and patients. And some centers, they allow healthy patients to wait outside or in their cars until it's their turn to be seen. Now, patients with respiratory symptoms, they should be given to wear masks. So to wear, and they should be dialyzing 6 feet away in all the directions from healthy patients. So in some centers, people with respiratory symptoms may be dialyzed in a separate area, and visitors with signs and symptoms of infection that should not be permitted to enter the dialysis center. So use cleaning procedures that kill the coronavirus, along with their all routine cleaning and disinfection procedures. So if your dialysis center is not allowing these guidelines, then you should call your local ESRD network, and you can find your local ESRD network. Okay. And what are the dialysis centers doing to prevent COVID-19 from spreading? So dialysis clinics, they're checking all the patients who come into the clinic for signs and symptoms of COVID-19. And they're keeping all sick patients who show any signs and symptoms at a safe distance from other patients. And sick patients wear masks from the time they enter the unit until and after they leave the unit. Now, clinics, they are also following strict methods for cleaning and disinfecting the entire treatment area, including your machines and other surfaces. And is the reuse of masks at dialysis centers acceptable? See, there are the reports that dialysis providers are using masks in abundance of caution, and this may also lead to reuse of masks in time of shortage. So, it is the best for people receiving dialysis to discuss the issue of reusing masks with their dialysis provider. And there are CDC recommendations for the reuse of masks for areas experiencing severe shortages. So, some of these recommendations may include face masks that fasten via ties and may not be able to be undone without tearing and should be reused. So, face masks with elastic ear hooks may be more suitable for reuse. And if these masks are to be reused, the face masks, they should be carefully folded so that the outer shortage is held inwards and against itself to reduce contact with the outer surface during shortage. Now the folded masks, they can be stored between uses in a clean, sealable paper bag and or breathable containers. Now these guidelines were drafted for health professionals, but the Kidney Community Emergency Response believes that they also apply to patients. Now, what should one do before going to a dialysis center? So if you experience any respiratory symptoms, you should call the center of your visit and let them know. Pack your hand sanitizer and keep using it frequently. So, can a dialysis patient recover from COVID-19? See, high risk patients, such as those on dialysis, they may be at high risk for several diseases from COVID-19. And for severe cases, recovery may take 6 weeks or more. And about 1%, those infected, will die from the disease. And what should one do if their home dialysis supplies are delivered and left outside? So home dialysis supplies companies, they are not bringing deliveries into the house due to COVID-19, and instead the entire delivery is being left outside. So this is the problem, especially if you have a peritoneal dialysis catheter and should not lift anything heavy. So in some cases, if dialysis staff speaks to their local home dialysis supply representative, the company may be willing to put the supplies right inside your doorway. And as long as you practice social distancing by going into the another room of the house, if this is not an option, some dialysis centers may be able to send a patient technician to bring supplies into your house and call your dialysis staff for their suggestions on this matter. So how can one protect themselves if they need a blood test or other labs? So for routine blood draws or other the kinds of labs, contact your healthcare provider to determine if the test can be postponed. And if your doctor feels that test is necessary to do now, then contact your lab to see if it can be done at home. Check if your lab is accepting urine samples dropped off at their site and sent through mail. And sterile specimen cups can be purchased online and may be in stock at a local pharmacy. So if home testing is not an option, then you should ask your lab, doctor, or your transplant coordinator if there is any local labs that can provide in-home testing services. And not all health insurance plans cover lab visits at home. So you should contact your insurance provider to learn about your coverage. Now, how to stay safe at lab. So if tests cannot be postponed or done in your home, you should know that the medical facilities are taking precautions to keep you healthy. And hospitals, labs, doctors' offices, and dialysis centers, they are evaluating patients and staffs and such as checking temperatures and asking questions to assess each person for active COVID-19. And if it is suspected that someone has the virus, then those people are kept in isolated from other healthy people. Now, various prevention tips can be that it is important that you make measures to help keep yourself safe and reduce the chance of getting COVID-19. So be sure to wear masks when you go inside your home. Keep at least 6 feet distance between you and other people. Remember to wash your hands frequently and use hand sanitizer. And if there is no washing facilities, avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Next, be well prepared. So, have extra supplies on hand, including surgical masks, hand sanitizers, and disposable gloves. So that if you come in contact with some at a medical facility, or if a technician comes to you to your home, you are both well protected. For in some home visits, be sure to disinfect any surfaces that another person may have touched, such as doorknobs and countertops. So this was all for today, and these were the frequent frequent questions which are basically asked by our dialysis patients. So if you have any further questions related to dialysis, you can ask me. And until then, take care and goodbye.